Coronavirus Delta variant has caused some federal agencies to rethink their return to office plans. The Biden administration now says federal employees have to get vaccinated or face strict testing measures. Mika Cross is a federal workplace expert. Mika, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Mimi.
I know things are still very fluid, and we really don't know what's going on specifically. But I wonder what you think employers and agencies can do about worker vaccination status.
Yeah, it's a really important question. And I think first and foremost, starting with effective and timely communication around what the latest guidance is, as well as the latest expectations and the kinds of workplace flexibilities that are in place to support federal workers as they start to go back to the office, whatever that may look like. Because as you alluded to, there is a lot of fluidity around the Delta variant, and also how agencies are going to consider requiring documentation and tracking and also training of the federal workforce in order to comply with whatever mandate is in place at the time.
So what should agencies be thinking about then when developing or revising their return to office plans?
I think first and foremost, just as all nationwide employers are considering right now, it's around the impact of worksite well-being and worker well-being. And I mean that both with pandemic-related measures such as PPE and training of the federal workforce and compliance measures with regards to social distancing, mask wearing, and the like, but really a focus on overall worker well-being as it relates to mitigating anxiety and stressors that can really impact agency productivity and mission delivery if not done well. I think it's going to be interesting in how agencies start integrating what the White House is mandating around values-based planning purposes and their latest guidance around worker reentry and worksite flexibility with regards to remote work and other work scheduling flexibilities, and how they'll start implementing that on behalf of workers who, are 60% reporting more stress and anxiety, and it can really have a high impact on how they perform their jobs.
Well, I mean, a lot of workers have been working remotely for the last year and a half, and you mentioned stress. Well, what can agencies do to lessen that stress when coming back to the office?
In the latest Federal Employee Viewpoint Survey data report, it was clear that those who participated in the FEVS were citing there's sort of a lack or an area of improvement around, again, strong communication that's frequent and impactful. So number one, communicating issues around, exposure or outbreak rates, and also how people are going to keep themselves safe, to also helping to normalize conversations around psychological safety and how we're able to support workers' needs. Data from the latest Census Bureau pandemic-related household pulse survey really indicates the impacts of well-being in the areas of stress, anxiety, and depression. And those kinds of indicators are hitting demographics of workers, for instance, women who are also juggling childcare and parental care and caregiving responsibilities at a much higher rate. So I think first and foremost, those clear lines of communication and supportive measures, normalizing conversations around what workers really need and how they're able to bring their best to work no matter where it's being done from, is going to be a key factor.
So how do the new updates that come out of the White House, and of course the Delta variant is surging, we don't really know what's going to happen with that. How do agencies stay flexible with their return to office plans, given the nature of this, the nature of the beast in a sense?
Yeah, well, I mean, I like to look at the data, right? So again, back to the latest FEVS and telework survey data that OPM and OMB has collected along the way throughout the pandemic indicates that about 60% of federal workers have been working on a heightened remote or hybrid work arrangement already. And so, as they're making their return to office plans, considering how they can continue to leverage choices and options for workers is really going to help mitigate that, again, impact on productivity as relative to stress and anxiety around uncertainty and the unknown. So it's nice to see the guidance that OPM has issued really focus not just on location-based work, meaning you can have the option to work remotely or on an expanded telework option or on-site premise, but also around all the kinds of flexibilities that the federal workforce has to offer and that might not have been available for workers to participate in as much because of the culture pre-pandemic. So considering choice, considering the business needs around why someone would have to come back into a physical workspace or not, and also the safety factors around whether or not these infrastructure brick and mortar facilities are equipped to keep federal workers safe or not yet. And so starting there in terms of who's been working in this way already and whether or not you can continue offering these kinds of flexibilities would be a great place to start.
Well, Mika, obviously this is a big subject and we're going to have to come back to it as things develop, and we'll continue to watch it. Thank you so much for being on the program.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mimi.